So this is my finished, well, almost finished HM-2 circuit. I just need 2 transistors and then it's finished, and a couple of diodes in there, and then it's finished and I can test it. What I've done is I have an actual HM-2 circuit here. This is a real one from a real Boss HM-2. What I've done with this is I've ripped out the pot section because this HM-2 was it needed repairing because the pots were crackly. The input and the output pots were crackly as well, so I just thought I'll just strip it back, take out the circuit and then wire it back up to some potentiometers here. These are all the wires that you need to just make it. I'm making it into a true bypass like I do with my other pedals. Like, this is the case. I'm not going to use this case anymore. I'm going to make this into a belt buckle. I think that'd be pretty cool. And so I'm going to put a diagram of how I wired this up, because there's nowhere on the internet showing me how to make a true bypass of a Boss pedal. So I've managed to do it. I can wire this up to my test box and it works. So I know that it's going to work in a true bypass fashion if I put it into an enclosure. So I'm going to do a 125B enclosure for this one, and I'm just going to do a normal standard small enclosure for this one, so that I'm just going to have 2 HM-2 pedals. One's going to be DIY, one's going to be the original but true bypass. I'm going to compare them both just to see what the differences are, because this one has different IC chips in it to this. This has got like some Mitsubishi kind of ICs, the original Japanese ones. This has just got stuff I found from my local electronics store, and the transistors, I've got a few transistors from China that I'm hoping are going to work. They're pretty similar to the ones that are in here, but what I've noticed is there's like 9 transistors in here, there's only 3 in here, so I'm expecting this to not sound anywhere near as good as the original, but we'll see when we fire it all up. But I'm glad I've got my original working, because I was a bit nervous that it wouldn't come back to life. I've had this HM-2 since I was a teenager, so I'm wanting to get it fixed, and I've been able to do that. But yeah, I'm going to put it into a true bypass and use this as a belt buckle, which I think would be pretty cool. So on we go. I'm just going to wait for the parts to come, and then I'm going to do a comparison test. So I just got my test box out. I just want to show how I made this Boss HM-2 into a true bypass. I'll put a circuit diagram up on the screen now, and so you can see exactly what I did with this thing, because I mean, when you take a Boss pedal apart, it does look complicated, but if you just strip it down to the bare bones, and you've got, you know, your input and output wires, and then just, you know, you just figure out where all the potentiometers have to go by looking on the circuit, because it was attached to another circuit, but the circuit was just basically for the potentiometers and for the LED. So I just took the LED off because I don't need that, because when I put it into a true bypass box, I'm going to have one. So there was a few more, like there's quite a lot of grounds on this for some reason, but it's just a matter of just fiddling about with it. I mean, I think sometimes you have to jumper these circuits to make them work, but for whatever reason, this one just works in a very basic fashion. So you didn't have to do anything to the circuit board. You basically just get your wires, and then a lot of them are ground. Like there's 3 grounds. There's a 9 volt and in and out. So I'm just going to wire this up, and I'm going to show it working. So that's it all wired up. There is a purple wire here. This purple wire goes to the momentary switch on the actual pedal itself. And the other side of the momentary switch, it's got this purple lead and it's got a ground. You don't need them. I just took it off. You only need these ones. And that's it. So I'm just going to fire this up. I'm only going to have it on the the Swedish death metal tone, because that's what I like. I like the Godflesh tone as well. That's it. You get the general idea. So as I say at the start of this video, I was going to do a comparison between this DIY HM2 and my rehoused HM2, but unfortunately I've made this circuit and it doesn't work, so I'm going to scrap it. I think I'm going to do a Dunwich Amps HM2 and see how that sounds, but this one's a pile of crap and it doesn't work, and to be honest I can't be asked troubleshooting it. I'm just going to pull it apart, pull all the main components out, and probably make a Dunwich Amps HM2 one, which I kind of have heard better things about anyway. So, and it will probably use the same similar potentiometers and a lot of the similar parts. So comparison video is going to have to come a bit later on when I've done that. I will show the rehoused HM2. Obviously at the moment it's only got, you know, a very minimal design on it, but that's what it looks like inside a 125B box enclosure. It just about fits inside. I mean, the circuit board takes up most of the top of that, and then I've used the, you know, you get a little plastic sheet when you have a Boss pedal. I've used that plastic sheet so it doesn't touch the metal enclosure there. I'm going to put a design on it eventually, and I'll probably change the pots because they're not very, I don't really like these pots anymore, they're not that nice. And so you can see as well, I've got my pedals all attached to my pedal board in similar sort of testing fashion that I've been doing. So I've got my Tube Screamer, my Rat, Acapulco Gold Sunstroke pedal, HM2. These are actually working quite well together. It makes the HM2 sound very bassy. I've got a loop station, super shifter, MXR phaser, reverb and delay, and all going through the orange amp detonator. So I've got a Marshall JCM-800 and I've got a micro dark. What I like about this is the JCM-800 produces, you know, brighter tones, and the orange micro dark produces quite a lot more sort of bassy tones. So they really complement each other really well, I think, in the kind of music that I want to be making. So and I've got two 4x12 speakers, and that's about my rig really at the moment. So what am I going to do with my empty HM2 enclosure, I bet you're wondering. Well, this is what I'm going to do with it. You may have seen my theremin video. I'm going to turn my HM2 enclosure into a theremin. So I've got a DC where the output is, and I've got an output where the input is. I'm going to have 4 potentiometers. 2 are going to be for the theremin, and 2 are going to be for a delay that is going to be on the theremin board. And then what we've got here is the DC input, which is basically a little plastic pot goes in there, and that's going to be ideal for housing the aerial, because I don't want the aerial to touch the metal casing, so I want it to be in plastic. So that's going to be really ideal for that. And then I'm going to use this as an on and off. When you hit the pedal, it's going to be a momentary switch which is in there, and it's going to hit the theremin on and off. I haven't got this finished, but this is the circuit board. So the bottom half is the theremin and the top half is the delay. I think I might also put a switch on the side so that you can turn the delay on and off, so you can have it theremin on its own or theremin with delay. This circuit is going to balance right inside there, and it fits quite comfortably. I'm going to put a strip of plastic over the top, and then I'm going to put the back on like that, and it'll be a Boss HM-2 circuit, a Boss HM-2 pedal with an antenna sticking out of it. Genius, eh? Okay, well, that's about it for this video. I've digressed a little bit talking about theremins, but that's what I did with my HM-2 pedal.